Okay, so now we have proved this lemma which states that if all vertices of a graph have degree at least 2, then G contains a cycle. And now we will use this to prove the main theorem about trees, the characterization of trees that we talked about. So the following statements are equivalent. So this was the theorem. G is a tree. Given any two vertices of G, there exists a unique path between them in G. Statement 3 was G is connected and has number of vertices 1 more than number of edges. Fourth statement is G is acyclic, that is has no cycles, and number of vertices is 1 more than the number of edges. So to prove that these statements are equivalent, so one strategy that we could use, so let's get into the proof itself. So one strategy that we could use, so here's the proof of the main theorem. So we could show that statement 1 implies statement 2 and statement 2 implies statement 1. Likewise, you can show that 1 or 2 is equivalent to, so here's one way of doing it. For example, you just show that the pair 1 and 2 are equivalent to each other and so on, but often it's this is more work than we need to do. It is actually enough to prove. So what we will do, we will show instead that the following sequence of implications holds, that if you assume statement 1, then statement 2 is true. If you assume 2, then 3 is true. If you assume 3, then 4 is true, and finally if you assume 4, then 1 is true. Okay, so if we show this, then it automatically means that all the 4 statements are equivalent to each other. Okay, so this is just a simple logical statement. For example, 1 implies 2, we already show. Now we would like to show the reverse implication, that 2 implies 1, but to do that, if we assume 2, we know that 3 holds and therefore 4 holds and therefore 1 holds. So to show 2 implies 1, we will just go through this cycle of implications and obtain that 1 holds. Okay, so this is going to be our strategy. So we will show that these implications sequentially imply the next one. So let's start with 1. So let's first prove that if G is a tree, so that's statement 1, then there exists a unique path joining any two vertices. Okay, that was statement 2. So let's assume so remember, tree just means it is a connected and acyclic graph, i.e. So now how do we show that there exists a unique path between any two vertices? So G is connected means for sure there exists a path. Okay, so let's take any two vertices of this graph. So let P and Q be two vertices. So let's call the vertex set as V, edge set as E as usual. So given two vertices P and Q, what we know is that there exists a path between them. So there exists a path for sure. Okay, and this follows because G is connected. So G is a tree in particular means it is connected. So there exists a path. Okay, and what is a path? The path is just a sequence of vertices and edges starting at P and ending at Q. Okay, and path means it cannot visit the same vertex twice. Okay, so there exists a path. So let's give these let's give this path a name. So let's call this V0, V1, V2 and so on, the vertices. So let's try to write out a formal proof here, V3 etc. Let's call this vertex as Vn. So V0 is P, Vn is Q, and these intervening edges we will give them names as before. This is E1, E2, E3 etc. And this last edge is En. So let this path be denoted V0, E1, V1, E2, V2 etc. En be one such path, okay, in which V0 is P and Vn is Q. Now what we need to show is that there exists a unique path, meaning this is the only path, you can't find any other one. So let us argue by contradiction. Suppose there exists another path, okay. So suppose there exists another path between these two vertices, okay. Let us call that path again something. So having another path just means you have got a sequence of vertices and edges which start from P and go to Q, okay. So now you can already start to see where the contradiction will arise from. So if you sort of put both these paths together, what it forms is a cycle in the graph, okay. So that's a contradiction because G was assumed to be acyclic, but we have to be a little more careful when making that argument. This is only an intuitive first step. Observe that there is no need for this path to, these two paths may actually meet each other before the end point. For example, the second path could be like this. So it could actually have some vertices in common with the first path even before you reach the end, okay. So we have to keep open that possibility. So we have to write out a careful argument for this statement, okay. So observe, even if this happens, we still have a cycle, okay. It is just that the cycle is sort of a smaller cycle, it will arise at a previous step itself. So let us write this out. So let us again call this path something else. So suppose there exists another path, let us call it V0 prime, E1 prime, V1 prime, edge, vertex, and so on. And now this may be a shorter or longer path, need not be the same length, and let us assume as before that the two ends are P and Q, okay. So now how are we going to argue? What we have to do is really the following: you sort of look at these two paths and you sort of find the first place where they both intersect each other, okay. So take the first common vertex between these two paths, okay. That common vertex may be Q as well, it may not, these two paths may not intersect each other until the very end, that is also okay, but we know for sure these two paths intersect, right, at least at the end. So let us write out the following statement. So let's write down these two vertex sets of these paths. Let V1 denote this set of vertices, V0 V1 Vn, and let V2 denote the vertices that occur in the second path. So V0 prime, prime, prime. Observe the two ends are the same, right. So what can we say about the intersection of these two sets of vertices? This intersection, well, it certainly contains, as a set, it certainly contains P and Q, because this is PQ, PQ. So let us just say this contains a set PQ, but it could contain more, okay. And what we want, if it contains more, is we want to find the smallest vertices in each set such that they belong to the intersection. So we will write it out like this: let n is already taken, let k be the minimum natural number. So minimum satisfying the property that Vk, the vertex, the kth vertex in the first path, lies in the intersection, okay. And likewise let L be the minimum for the other one, let L be the minimum natural number such that V prime L belongs to V1 intersection V2, okay. And observe that these exist because for sure, k equal to n and L equal to m, they are two candidates, at least the nth vertex of the first path and the mth vertex of the second path, they both meet each other, they are both in the intersection. So we can surely find such k and L. So that's another important thing to always check. So observe k and L are well defined, they make sense. So this sort of verification is an important thing, that important detail that one should take care of. Observe that if we had two paths which did not intersect each other, so if I just had a path like this and another path like this, so let us say they are not paths between the same two vertices, then in this case the intersection between these two paths, the vertices of these paths, will only be the initial starting vertex, in which case you will not be able to find any such k or L, okay, because I am looking for a minimum natural number, I am looking for a number that is at least 1 here. So I am looking for a point other than the starting point where they both intersect. So the reason you are able to find such k and L is because these two paths, for sure we know for sure that they intersect, okay, at least at the end, if not even earlier. So these could intersect even before but some intersection exists. Okay, so that's a matter of detail that we should always be careful about. Now having done this, let us go back here, let us see what these are in this example. So if we take V3 for example, V4, V5, so the fifth vertex is where it intersects, and likewise if we take the other path, this V1 prime, V3 prime, let us put one more vertex in the middle, V4 prime, V5 prime, V6 prime. Okay, so observe that the intersection V5 and V6 prime are both equal to each other, right. So in this particular example that I have drawn here, the number k will just be 5, that is the smallest number which lies in the intersection for the first path, and L would be 6 because V6 prime is the first time it intersects. Okay, now all we have to do is to just put together these two paths and form a cycle. So at this point what we can do is we can just afford to forget about the rest of the graph. So we will remove the rest of the graph from consideration and we have a cycle. So let us just write this out. So now having done this, consider, so how do we write this out? So I have V0, E1, V2 and so on, tends at Vk, but Vk remember is the same as VL prime, okay. So Vk turns out to be the same as VL prime. So now what we do is we just write attach it to the second path from that point onwards. So this would be EL prime, L minus 1, L minus 1 prime, etc. till E1 prime, V0 prime. Okay, so I have just looked at this path, and so all I have done is just attached these two paths together, and this is where the attachment has happened. They are both the same vertex. Now this guy is in fact a cycle in the graph G, and that is because V0 is also P, V0 prime is also P. Okay, so this is the contradiction that we needed. So what have we done? We have argued by contradiction, and we have shown that the statement 1 implies the statement 2.